So Miesha Tate, I got to ask you. Just you can't sit still, can you? You got the character fighting, and now you're booking another job. You're going to be doing commentary at Invicta next week. So how does it feel to be taking on another role these days?
Oh man, I know. I just think I love hats. I just want to wear as many as I can. No, it's I'm really excited though because I kind of dabbled. It's really the first place that I dabbled with commentary, So was Invicta back in the day, and recently they just celebrated 8 years, and I just thought, hey, Shannon and I go way back. The founder, CEO of Invicta. She was working at Strikeforce, and she was always somebody I remember who was just the little pit bull that would go to bat for the fighters. Nothing has changed. She is still that woman, and now with even more important presence. She is her own boss, and she's helped so many women elevate their games and get to where they need to be. Because truthfully, she's right. We don't get the competition to build the resume to get to the journey wherever we want to be, whether it's Bellator, whether it's One Championship, whether it's PFL, whether it's, look at Kayla Harrison. She's just struggling to get that competition in there. And the same, to get to the UFC or get to these platforms. She's just created such a great foundation for so many fighters that if you've worked with her or been around her in any capacity, you truly understand her passion for the sport, and that she's one of the good guys, and I appreciate that. So I'm really looking forward to working with her again.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you touched on some things that I did want to ask you about with Invicta, right? Because a few years ago there just wasn't any women's fights at all, so it's like it was a really needed platform. Now there's a lot of divisions, there are a lot of places, but I think you touched on it, right? I feel like girls are almost getting rushed a little too fast to the UFC, a little too fast to Bellator, a little, wherever it may be. It's like they're in the spotlight at 3-0 or something and trying to learn on the big stage. So I wonder if maybe the role of Invicta has changed a little bit, but if it's still maybe as relevant as it ever was, even when there weren't these women's divisions.
We need places for women to go and get experience and real experience too. Because when you get to the UFC, it's very sink or swim, and sometimes it's a one-shot deal. It's a one-chance opportunity. My buddy and training partner Kai Kamaka, he just got cut, and he took like two of those fights I think were short notice, or maybe all three were short notice fights, and it's just very unforgiving. Business is business. Either you sink or you swim, and same thing goes here. So now these women have this great platform to do, and a lot of them have chosen to stay because they're treated really well there. She's awesome. I'm talking about like gift packages in your room. Like you could just tell it's a female run promotion. Like, you know what I mean? She's a mother, she's a woman, she's thoughtful. Like there's like bath bombs you get in there, and there's like the gift set and the welcome to Kansas City. She's just such an awesome person that it's always really fun and a pleasure to work with I want to say like-minded woman, because she's been somebody who really I have looked up to through the fight game, just as a businesswoman with her smarts, but with her no bullshit attitude, and she doesn't take any crap from anybody, and she goes out and she gets what she wants done. And I remember when she was kicking this off 8 years ago, and I remember thinking, I'm just not sure the world is ready for this. I'm not sure the MMA community is ready for an all-female show. I wanted her to succeed so bad, but I feared that she, would run into all kinds of hurdles, and I'm sure she did, but, she jumped them, and she's still well on her way 8 years later. So I'm just excited to get back in the mix and get to be a part of this again. And I'm going to go back and see how much hopefully I've improved with my commentary since then. I've been doing the radio show. I've been kind of learning how to slow down and deliver better. So I'm very excited to do this in Invicta FC 44 to commentate for it.
That's awesome. So were you actually like actively looking to kind of get back into commentary again, or did they just come to you and you said, well, why not? Let's put more on the plate?
All right. Yeah. I'm not busy enough. I wasn't looking for it, but it is something that I would like to do at some point down the road. So my hair's all crazy and wet. I just showered. It came from training to hop straight on this interview. So please excuse my informalities, but
we'll deal with it.
Yeah. So, you guys, you get the real deal when it comes to me. So anyways, no, I wasn't looking for it. I was not looking for it at this time, but it is something that I want to do. So of course, when it came across my way, Shannon shot me a message over on WhatsApp and she's like, hey, would you be interested? I'm like, absolutely. We actually tried to make this happen one time before, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. I can't recall. So this time, date wise, it worked out. And I'm so excited. I'm excited to watch the ladies fight. They always throw down. I mean, I think each woman here knows that there's so much on the line, and we got 2 title fights and a lot of good action. A couple of girls that I'm, ladies that I'm more familiar with, and some that I'm really learning about for the first time.
Yeah, no question. It's a nice mix. I mean, as you said, Invicta's done a great job of developing kind of newcomers to the sport, but they're also doing taking some veterans and getting them some more experience as well. So it's a nice card. Are you hardcore research, like watching tape and reading up on these things? Or do you just go and say, I'm Miesha Tate, I'm former UFC champ, I know the game. We'll just talk about what we talk about.
I'm confident that once the fight starts, I'll be able to break it down very well for everybody. But of course, I want to know these ladies. I don't want to just talk about fight. I want to be able to give a little history. I want to be able to really delve into who they are as a person, because it's fun to follow a storyline, even during a fight, right? The reason why you might be a little more interested in this one, or root a little more for her, or you might identify with this. So certainly I'm getting familiar with these women, looking at them on Instagram and following their social medias and watching their interviews and kind of seeing where they're at in their careers. So I'm having fun learning about them, and I hope to deliver more than just, during the fight knowledge. I want to, me, I always like to do my job the best I can do it. I was putting pressure on myself, whether it's mommy or fighter or, radio, Sirius XM radio show host or all that stuff. I definitely do my fair share of research.
Yeah, no question. And now the thing is this a one-off and then see what happens? Or are you signing up to be a part of the team for a while?
Right now, we just have this one in the books, and that's it. So hopefully if I do a good job and Shannon likes how I sound and everybody can appreciate my commentary, then maybe we'll make this a more regular thing for the pay-per-view events. So, and this one is the pay-per-view, August 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody, if you want to watch it, right, which you should. I try to catch as many of the Invicta events as I can. But you guys can catch it on your regular pay-per-view providers or stream it on, I think it's Fight TV, fighttv.com. So
Fight TV, no doubt. We'll be looking forward to it. Hey, got to ask you, obviously, about your career. You're back. You're fighting again, victorious. It was a great moment. You've had a chance to digest it a little bit. You almost had another fight the next week. It seemed like Aspen Ladd was calling you out.
Right.
Was there any, I mean, did you consider that at all? Was there any possibility of that happening? It seemed a little sudden, but I know you as well. I wondered if you at least thought about it.
Man, of course I thought about it. I was like midway through a cinnamon roll. I was like, wait, what? I kid you not. I was like halfway through a cinnamon roll. I got the message. And I was like, it was Thursday, like 6 p.m. and weigh-ins were Friday at 9 a.m. And I was like, I was like, gosh, I went and stepped on the scale. I was like, don't think it's a good idea. Not so much the fight. The fight was very intriguing, but just making sure I could be a true professional, show up, make weight. You got to, factor all that stuff in. I had taken the whole week off. I was in the worst diet part of my, that 1 week. It's like the 1 week you get to just, eat all the food that you want and relax and whatever. So I called my coaches and I said, I'm thinking about doing this. Am I crazy? They're like, you're crazy. They're like, just trying to make the weight by the next morning. And then, all these things. So they're like, do it at a later date. So I was like, it was kind of one of those things that we just thought as a collective team that it was probably smarter to wait. Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like a little far-fetched of an idea, but I knew that you do, because it fit right what you wanted, right? You said, hey, I need like one more, and then we'd be, so it's like the perfect name.
I really considered it because I like the matchup. I have a lot of respect for Aspen Ladd. I think she's a great opponent and, very different. Like, she likes to come forward. She's aggressive. And I love that kind of fight because it always brings out the best in me, and as opposed to Marion, who's more technically sound and calculated, and she likes to kind of stay away until she can get what she wants done. Aspen Ladd is very different than that. And I hope that we can get that fight at some point. I would really like that.
Yeah, it really seems to be one that makes sense. Like I said, I like the idea of it, but doing it that soon didn't make sense. I did see you were kind of hinting at Madison Square Garden, saying that looks like a nice place. So I wanted to ask you about that. Is it just that platform of being in New York City, the legendary MSG, or is it that date on the calendar that makes sense? What is it about that one that appeals to you?
Well, the idea of running it back exactly 5 years since I had retired there was kind of like, okay, that seems to make a lot of sense, But then I found out I lose 15% more of my purse just for fighting in New York. Plus, I have to have a COVID vaccine. And I just don't like, surprise, surprise, I don't like being told what to do. So I just decided, you know what? I'm probably not going to gun for that card right now, but I still want to fight in November. So maybe the week after or the week after that, mid-November, right? Mid-November sounds great. Then I can eat all I want for Thanksgiving and enjoy Christmas. Like there's been so many cards that I have fought on the New Year's card that I'm like, a mid-November card sounds like perfect. So maybe awesome. I'll go mid-November here in Vegas again, hopefully. And I will definitely be keeping an eye on the winner of the Ketlin Vieira versus Sarah McMahon fight, right? Everyone else in the top 10 right now is booked or injured or pregnant. Congratulations, Yana. So I think that's the soonest fight that I could look at a winner and hopefully if they could come out unscathed that, timeline, it makes sense. They could fight me in November. So I'll definitely be paying close attention to that.
That's awesome. You touched about fighting on the exact same platform where you retired. Does it feel like you need to exercise some demons or something? Is there something you need to address, or does that need to happen at some point?
For what? Say again.
To fight in Madison Square Garden, like you said, to kind of like address. Does it feel like righting a wrong or something, or is it not that deep?
It did when I first thought about it. I was like, it just sounded so right, like destiny wise. And then of course I was thinking, oh, Madison Square Garden. And then what if I could fight Raquel there again? I was like, wouldn't that be perfect? Right? Exactly 5 years later. But you know what? I'm never somebody who's too stuck on that part of it because really that's such a small, what matters is that I get a fight and I get an opponent and it's right for me. So I don't worry too much about the nuances, although it sounded real nice for a minute, but I think overall what's more important for me is that I'm in a good mindset and a good place and fighting a good opponent, and that's it. So maybe not Madison Square Garden this time around, but maybe one time before the career is all said and done. I have a different approach a little bit this time. I used to think all those things were so important, and they are. Fighting on I don't care about fighting on a pay-per-view anymore. Like I don't care. I just want to get wins and I want to get back to the title. I don't care about doing as much of the media and press and everyone would be like, jump, and I would just be like, how high? Like, how much can I cram into my life and my schedule? And now it's like, one interview a day, maybe two max if they're short interviews. And I just have to learn to say no. Before I used to think I had to say yes to everything and everybody and every obligation. And I really spread myself thin. Now it's like, guys, I got kids. I got new priorities. I got things I got to do. I got to train. I got to make that obviously big priority in my life. So no, I don't care about that stuff as much as I used to. I used to think I got to take advantage and make the most and maximize every single situation. Now I'm like, it'll come. What's meant to be will be. If I focus on being the best fighter, I'm going to be a champion again. All you guys will be there waiting for my questions and my answers and, the opportunities and the pay-per-views, and those will come. So I'm not in a hurry, but I'm also not wanting to waste too much time either. I want to stay active with my fighting, and that's where the focus lies. Could not care less if it was a fight night card. I don't care if I'm on the undercard. I don't care if I'm on a pay-per-view. I don't care if I'm in the main event. I've done it all, seen it all. I'm ready for it all, but I have no pride in this anymore. I just want to win and be the best.
Something tells me you won't be on the undercard of a fight night. I'm just saying, but I
couldn't care less if I was.
No, it's amazing. I think back, all the pressure and all that, man. You and Rhonda, as y'all were kind of ascending to the top and really bringing women's MMA to the forefront. You girls were stretched awfully thin back then. I mean, it seems like they ran you out everywhere. Did you enjoy that time? Like in retrospect, was it fun, or did you really kind of not like the whole time?
No, I thought it was necessary. I can't say that I enjoyed that. When when you have so much already that you're trying to balance, and then you're trying to do all of the extras, and I really didn't know how to say no to anything or delay it. I just thought I had to do it all. But now it's just a different point. You know, I realize in life that these things will be there, and the opportunities are not necessarily missed just because I'm putting it off, or I'm putting other things that are more important in my life, getting the most out of my training. I mean, I have these apps that monitor like how well I sleep, how stressed I am, my recovery. And I just realized when you add all these things and you're just taxing yourself to the max, it really does affect your training. I didn't know that before because I didn't have these tools. I just thought I've got to do everything I can at full speed. And I kind of turned into a wrecking ball, but I kind of wrecked myself in the process, and it was just really spread too thin. So now I'm just trying to balance everything the best that I can. And I have way more on my plate now than I did even then, but I'm better at managing these things. Like I said, you know, the interviews have got to be when it works for me. And, you know, I just trying to put myself as a priority, you know, in this second chapter of my career. And I sound silly, but I didn't do that in the first go around. I didn't know to do that.
Yep. No, I think that's fantastic advice. I mean, obviously not just for fighters, but just for people in life, you know, prioritizing and, you know, mental health and happiness. You seem so much happier and just lighter, you know what I mean? If you want to use that as a word this time around.
That was the word I used. I try to describe that to people going into my next fight. I was like, you are going to see a lightness in me in the octagon, and it's going to represent where I'm at in my life. You know, I'm not this plotty, heavy, kind of flat-footed fighter. Like, I'm going to come out there and you guys are going to see me float around and move different than I ever have before. And I just knew that because of the way my training was going, but I didn't know how much the outside really was going to affect what went on the inside until I was really getting through my training camp. And I'm like, I'm way different. I was looking at videos of my old sparring, you know, when I was at the peak, when I was the champ, when I was doing all these things. I'm like, I didn't move like I move now. I'm legitimately better now. Like, I believed like I would kick my own ass back then. And that's how I look at it. So I look at these things and I'm like, there's no denying. The proof is in the pudding, the numbers, what I'm able to lift, what I'm able to do, the anaerobic thresholds I'm able to push past. But I have built such a good team around me now that nothing's taking away for the first time. There's no one else I'm fighting except for the woman standing across the octagon.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll see a big fight mid-November. I'm sure there'll be some names out there for you. In the meantime, you'll be on the microphone for Invicta FC 44. I believe the prelims are on YouTube. Main card is on Fight TV. You still got the Sirius XM show going, right? Yeah. Is there anything else people need to know? I know you said you're balancing yourself, but you still got a lot going. Anything else people need to know about?
Yes, coming soon. I'll be launching a YouTube channel. I have my YouTube channel up, but I'm launching a series that will let people more in on my life, because I love my MMA fans, don't get me wrong, but I have like 86% male following on Instagram. Surprise, surprise. But look, I know, but I love my ladies. Like, I'm a mom. I'm still nursing my son. I'm very domestic outside of fighting. I love to fight because I'm a competitor, but I'm the most competitive mom. I love to cook. I love to bake. I clean my house. I wash my own toilets. Like, I do all this stuff that's like probably some people don't care about, but maybe some people would think that I'm not so different. I think sometimes women look at me and they're like, oh, I could never. No, like, we are the same. Like, there's a warrior inside every woman. And I want people in general to be able to identify with the different facets of me, Miesha Tate, the complete person, not just me as a fighter, everything that I am. And so that'll be coming. Hopefully we'll be able to launch it maybe around September. Mm-hmm. And you'll see my engagement. I'm going to be trying on wedding dresses. We're going to be shopping for wedding venues. We're going to do all this awesome stuff that you guys, exclusive content you don't get to see otherwise. You get to see my workouts. Cool. You get to see me punching people in the face. You already know I do that. What else? What else can I offer that's, that you guys will let you in a little bit on the life that's Miesha Tate?
That's awesome. Well, good luck with that project. Appreciate it. Obviously, we'll be tuned in to Invicta. And thank you for fitting me in your busy day and let me be the one or possibly two interviews that you accepted today.
Absolutely. All right. You take care. It's always good talking to you.